Yo, what's going on, your boy Ghost here. Today I'm bringing you guys a comparison video between the Bruen and the Amax. And I know that this comparison seems kind of random or strange because the Bruen isn't a weapon that many people talk about nowadays, and it's one of those weapons that are kind of like they just been put in the chest, locked, and then the key got thrown into the ocean, you know what I'm saying? But I want to make this video because I kind of wanted to bring attention back to the Bruen, because I feel like out of all the primary weapons that I've used ever since the AUG nerf, I believe that the Bruen, in terms of damage, is possibly the closest thing that there is to an Amax. And I know some of you guys might say the Stoner, and you know, the Stoner is cool, but I don't know, I still think the Bruen, like as an LMG, is still probably the best LMG in the game, and we'll surely get into that. But before I get into that, I want to say, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 2,000. We're about less than 290 away, so if you help a brother out, that'd be very, very appreciated. Also, if you guys could do me a favor of leaving a follow on my Twitch, you know what I'm saying? That's just another form of, I guess, entertainment for me. And we're close to 200. We're like 10 away, so please, if you help a brother out. And lastly, I know I'm asking for a lot, but if you could leave a like on this video, it'd be greatly appreciated. Let's try for 15 likes. You guys have been doing pretty well at getting close or reaching that goal, so I guess we'll just make that the goal now. But yeah, man, that being said, let's get into the comparison. And then we have the recoil pattern for the Bruen, but this isn't actually the base Bruen. This is a Bruen with just a 16-round mag, because I figured that my class setup includes a 16-round mag, and if I just had it the base version of it, it'd be completely different. Because, you know, I'm not using the normal 100 or default mag, I'm using the 60-round mag. So, you know, I hope no one has a problem with that. I felt like that was the best thing to do to showcase the recoil pattern. But, yeah, anyways, before I even get into any of this, I want to say my boy put me on this Bruen in this current season. So I know he's going to say something in the comment section if I didn't mention him. But my boy, shout out my boy Crazy, you know, he put me on the Bruen, and it just kind of like, I used it once and I was like, kind of reminds me to the Amax in terms of damage. But I know that this Bruen isn't what it used to be. If you guys remember the Bruen Meta, where it was just this crazy mowing machine, like this gun was just crazy with it. And one of the biggest reasons why it was so broken was because of the 16-round mag that it has. And in fact, this was like one of the first times, not cap, that's very cap, but it actually received like a big bug. When it got nerfed, it was not only the gun that got nerfed. Or actually, I don't even remember the full nerf. I do remember the 16-round mag getting nerfed, and you know, people thought that it was gone, and people kind of stepped away from the Bruen. More weapons started coming out of the shadows. Other weapons became better, and the Bruen kind of just got left behind. But I don't know. Right now, man, I can see the Bruen making its comeback. Given how the landscape of Warzone is right now, given how all the primary weapons are kind of, you know, quite a bit of variety, and just not one real dominant weapon. Even though the Amax, I would say, is by far the most popular AR, a weapon like this, Bruen, especially that shares similar damage to the Amax, I could see it being used a lot more. And given, since we have the ability to, you know, have fast SMGs as your secondary so you can move around, it's actually kind of surprising that a gun like the Bruen isn't being used very often. I guess maybe one of the reasons why would be the long range. The only complaint I actually have a few complaints about the Bruen. I think it's a little bit slow on the ADS, maybe because of the class setup that I have. I could maybe use a tank laser instead of a underbarrel. Honestly, at this point, I don't really know what the best class is. Because I don't want to run a class setup and then all the nerfs that happened in the past come to affect me. You know, there is class setups that you could use to avoid those nerfs, or to avoid those nerfs aside from the damage nerf, to make this gun at its full capacity. But you know, I don't know. I told my boy, give me his class setup. He gave me his class setup. This is what he ran, and so this is what I ran. I didn't really want to mess with it because I haven't used it in such a long time. I didn't, you know, remember or know exactly what the best thing was to, or what the best attachments were to put on this Bruen. So actually, if you guys use the Bruen, let me know what you guys' class setup for, because again, if you guys can give me a class setup that has pretty good ADS and not that much recoil, I'll be very happy, because I don't know, man, this weapon I could see myself using a lot more. I had a lot of fun with it, and I just, some of the things that I don't like about the Amax were gone with the Bruen, but some things that the Amax had isn't with the Bruen. So like, for starters, I could obviously say the mobility and whatnot, but honestly, I don't really care. As long as I'm using a Bullfrog or any other SMG, mobility to me doesn't really matter. I will say that I wouldn't see myself run my XM4 with the Bruen, so that would be like the only downside in terms of loadout. But overall, I think the Bruen, mobility doesn't matter to me. The ADS kind of doesn't matter to me though. Like that's something I have a problem with. I feel like it's a little bit too slow. If I can make it faster, it would make this gun a lot better. And I know that some people out there already have those fast ADS and low recoil classes. So please, man, let me know, man. Let me know what the secret class edit for this gun is, because this gun, I think, to be honest with you, this could be a top 3 primary in the game. The Stoner is cool and all, but this Bruen is definitely better than the Stoner. Like maybe the only thing the Stoner could have over the Bruen, in my opinion, is the fact that it has more damage. And even then, I'm willing to debate that. But I don't know. I think this Bruen, at this point, like the way Warzone is right now, could make its comeback. But it won't be like how it used to be, obviously. But we'll see. But with that being said, man, let's get into the Amax. I never had the recoil pattern for the Amax, which I'm pretty sure if you've been watching my videos for the last week and a half, you are very familiar with this pattern already, because I've been making a lot of Amax comparison videos. But I don't know, man, it's just because the primary, I guess, class of Warzone is very competitive right now, and since the Amax is viewed as the most, I guess, popular weapon, or is the most popular weapon, there's a lot of competition for it, because the changes that are being made, it's getting very spicy. But I mentioned a little bit earlier that there was a few things that I liked about the Amax that the Bruen didn't have, and vice versa. And for one, I want to start off with just the long range. So for the long range, I'm talking about like those deep ranges where you find yourself shooting at people, ones that you would prefer a sniper to have, those type of ranges. The Amax is by far like a better option for those ranges. Like I feel like the Bruen recoil isn't too crazy, but for ranges or extreme ranges, it starts getting uncontrollable. Like there was a lot of times when I was using the Bruen where I just couldn't control the Bruen, and I was missing a lot of shots at those ranges, where if I had an Amax, I still would have trouble controlling the Amax fully, but I would have a lot more success with the Amax. And that's why I was kind of hoping that maybe there was another class setup that minimized the recoil a little bit more. Maybe that would be the effect of having 100 rounds instead of the 60 round mag. But I don't know. Like I know for a fact that the Bruen at those ranges are just damage wise might not be too far off from the Amax, or might be even better, but the recoil, actually hitting those shots, is a little bit tougher. And I guess for the Amax, just the mobility, even though I mentioned that the mobility didn't really matter to me with the Stoner, but the mobility just, I don't know, I guess that the whole, like, because sometimes I find myself running with my primary, and when I'm stuck like in rotating, I want to have my AR out. With the Bruen, I'm moving slow, so I tend to not really have it out. So if I get caught off guard, it's up to the Bullfrog to be able to gun some of those people who are trying to shoot at me. And the Amax allows me to be prepared at most ranges. That's like the only, I guess, bad thing about not having that mobility. Even though overall I don't really care, because I'm gonna have like a fast secondary to accompany with this LMG, which at the end of the day, man, the LMG or the Bruen is still an LMG. Like it has all the characteristics of an LMG except for the reload size, or the reload time, my bad. With the 60 round mag, it's more of like it's a hybrid of AR LMG. And, man, I just remember when the Bruen was broken, because oh my god, you know what I'm saying? You guys remember the Bruen meta. Bruen Zone was a full effect. But when the Bruen was meta, I was a kilo guy, so you know what I'm saying? I used the Bruen, but I wasn't a Bruen main. I was still a kilo main, because that's what I like using. Kilo, one of my favorite guns of all time in the Warzone, and I'm just sad about it. But I don't know, man. Right now though, the Bruen, it felt nice. Maybe it's because I've been using the Amax for so long that change, that breath of fresh air, just felt so good. It felt really good to finally have a weapon that felt kind of like the Amax, but it wasn't the Amax. Because like the Krig is cool, but the damage to me seems kind of lackluster. It obviously has no recoil, but the Bruen and Amax, to some people, like the recoil isn't that bad. To me, it's not that bad. So honestly, like if I have a gun that's, I guess, no recoil or low recoil, it's whatever. Like most guns for me the recoil isn't what I'm looking for. I'm looking for like a gun that feels like just feels good, like I'm not looking for high damage. I just need a gun that won't get easily outgunned by majority of the gun, or won't get me outgunned majority of my gunfights. That's it. That's all I need, and I'll be fine. And I don't know, bro, I was feeling it. I was just feeling it. And like, I don't know, compared to the other ARs that I've used, like the Ram is cool, but I feel like it's a pea shooter at times. The Faro, I'm not really willing to sit here and try to learn it. The AK-47, the Modern Warfare one, I don't think it's gonna suit me. And then, or not the Modern Warfare, the Cold War one, I don't think it's gonna suit me. And like, given my own personal rankings, like I would probably put the Amax #1 still. I maybe might put the Craig #2, and then the Bruen. I'm not gonna lie. Now that I've used it again, I might put this at #3. And yes, I'm putting this over like RPD or Stoner because I think that this Bruen, especially with the 16-round mag, is just the best LMG right now. It still is the best LMG in my opinion. Some people might disagree with me, that's fine. But let me know what you guys think, man. Let me know where you guys personally place this Bruen. Do you guys think it's capable of being a top gun in Warzone again? Why and why not? And yeah, man, with that being said, man, let me thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys later. Peace.